Hi, I'm Holly Hope, Special Projects Historian with the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program, and we're going to talk about iconography, or symbolism that you find on gravestones in the state's historic cemeteries. And Mount Holly in Little Rock is a very good place to explore that because Little Rock came to be a capital city. There were a lot of inroads into the city. There were roads that were built. There were steamboats. There was rail. So people were able to get here easily, which brought stone carvers and their crafts, and also other markets could be opened up to bring in gravestones from other areas like Memphis or St. Louis. In the early 1800s after the 20th century, there were a lot of symbols that were common to cemeteries. There was a growing interest in garden cemeteries, which influenced what kind of symbols you see on gravestones. There were also flower books beginning in 1819 that talked about how different flowers had different meanings. So these translated very easily onto Victorian gravestones as symbols of the people who were interred there. These stemmed from religious traditions, they stemmed from European traditions, and they were easy to carve in gravestones, especially on materials like marble. So the nature movement was translated very easily in the form of trees, flowers. Other popular symbols were lambs, doves, angels, and cherubs. Angels in some form or other were very popular on the East Coast and in Europe. In the beginning, it was death's heads, the skulls with grimacing faces that had wings on them. And then eventually they evolved into bas-relief or flat sculptural images of angels with wings. By the 1850s, you started to see full-bodied angels emerge. They became more stylized, they were more lifelike, they were human and divine at the same time. The angels had a lot of tasks that they did. One of them was that they decorated the grave, which is an example you see here of a decorating angel at the Basham plot. This plot was vandalized very heavily a few years back. The angels and the children were destroyed. Luckily, Mount Holly was able to get a skilled craftsman who could put them back together again, and they look like they did when they were first built. And it's very important because these children were modeled on the actual faces of the Basham children. And when they were first made, they came from Italy, but the family felt that the children didn't look like they actually did. So they sent them back to Italy and had them redone in their likenesses. Here you see the angel is tending the grave. She has flowers in her hands, she's holding a calla lily, and she's carrying on the task of keeping the grave tended for the children. Another task of angels is lifting souls to heaven. On this grave marker, which was produced in Detroit in white bronze or zinc, you see an angel lifting a child on a bier or a bed with a pall over it, carrying it to heaven. This is another example of the angel lifting the children up to heaven. This is Mary, the youngest daughter of George Claiborne and Mary Crease Watkins. And you can see this sculptural form evolving here. It's more intricate. You can see the folds of the drapery, and the child is likely a likeness of Mary. Child angels or cherubs were very popular in cemeteries as well. They're actually like androgynous figures. They look like female children about 5 or 6 years old, but they have tasks like the adult angels. One of them is trumpeting to remind the viewers that the Last Judgment is imminent. Another is placing a crown like this one here on the grave for the interred. This cherub atop an urn is lifting the pall from a child's grave. A pall is a drapery that was placed over a casket at funerals. And this is a European tradition that's passed down. Funeral homes would have the palls that they would that they would give out to different families, and it was passed down through the community. Figures of infants on children's gravestones were very popular. They could either be they could either be a portrait of the child who is buried there, or stand in as a symbol of the child as it is awaiting its journey to heaven. This gravestone for Ed Ward has several symbolic devices on it. First of all, the child is laying on a bier covered with a pall. And again, a pall is a cloth that covers a casket. The shell symbolizes a journey or a pilgrimage. It's also a symbol of baptism. Besides tending graves and lifting the interred to heaven, angels also stood in as mourners for the family, like this one on the Stark Cemetery plot. She holds a wreath of flowers. In and of itself, the flowers also have meanings individual to the interred.